A very good morning to all of you. How are you? Okay. So yesterday you attended the session online? No? Okay. Not to them. Oh, okay. Yesterday your class was not there. Why? Because I was not there. Yeah, I had to attend some medical emergency. So anyway, but yesterday the class was there of the current polity. Next time give them the message. So in previous classes we have studied the historical underpinnings of the Indian Constitution and the structure of the Constitution, and also the parts, the the schedules list, and we are discussing about the schedules of Indian Constitution. The difference between the parts and schedule also was discussed, right? So what were the differences between parts and schedule? Hmm? Not all schedules are parts, but all parts are schedules. Did I say this? So you can say that you can, in that other sense, you can say that parts are supraset, whereas schedules are subset of the parts. So in that sense, all parts are schedules, but all schedules are not parts. We cannot say this, but yes, we can say that all schedules are parts of some parts. Part in the Constitution means simply what? Chapter. If it is a book, then parts means chapter. Schedule means appendix attached at the end of the book. That's what is the case. So we discussed the schedule 1. In that we discussed about name of Indian states and union territories. So it is factual in nature simply. If you need to make a new state, you will be amending it in order to have that name of a new state. That's it. So last time it was changed for not after that J&K. Then after that Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu both integrated together, both the UTs. Okay. So this is the one, and if it is to be changed, then it will be done by ordinary legislation using simple majority, that is half of present and voting. This much we discussed. Now after that there comes schedule 2. Schedule 2 is about salary and emoluments. What is the difference between salary and emoluments? Salary and emoluments in monetary terms, whereas emoluments may be not in cash but in kinds. Is it so? So dearness allowance is also emoluments, but it is given in cash against some of the commodities or services that you are getting, or against the inflation, right? But the salary amount is decided one, guaranteed one, the minimum one to sustain the life. maybe the retention part is also there in the salary. Now schedule 2 is talking about the salary and emoluments for the constitutional dignitaries like president, vice president, presiding officers of Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, right? The Rajya Sabha's presiding officer is called as chairperson, who is vice president, whereas the presiding officer of Lok Sabha, the lower house in parliament, is called as speaker. Then the judge's salary, CAG's salary. Why it is given in schedule 2? Because of oh, independent of the government. But how the independence of the government is ensured by having it in schedule 2? So the salary, if you are saying that charged on consolidated fund, इतना ही काफी है, charged on. So what is the meaning of this expression, charged on? Not be altered to the disadvantageous position. Means what? If I or we have appointed you some constitutional dignitary and we have guaranteed you the X amount to win the bread and butter for you and for your family, X amount has been guaranteed. Now you have started working contrary for something, and you have started doing something which is contrary to my interest. Then what will I do? Me, who has appointed you, will try to reduce your salary as part of retaliation, at least. If I'm not able to remove you, then there is a threat to your bread and butter guy. So this charged expression means the minimum salary that parliament cannot reduce it, right? So this is the importance of schedule 2. Then there is another thing, that the vice president is given any salary. Vice president is not given any salary, because vice president is ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha, and for that work in Rajya Sabha that he is doing as a chairperson or presiding officer, he is given salary. But as a vice president, he is given only what is called as emoluments. Means house to live, vehicle to travel, some cavalry, tea, sugar, number of servants, liter milk in liters. There is a ration list, all emoluments you will also be getting. Office ration different, house ration different. If not ration, then dearness allowance. It is decided. Okay. Then if we need to change the salary and emoluments, do we need to have a special majority, Constitutional Amendment Act, or ordinary legislation, simple majority? Ordinary legislation, not the Constitutional Amendment Act requiring special majority, which is harder to be obtained. 2/3 present in voting, which should be at least half of the total strength of the house. Clear? So this is about schedule 2. Now there comes schedule 3. Schedule 3 is about oath and affirmation. Now what is the difference between oath and affirmation? What is the difference between oath and affirmation? In Hindi, it simply means kasme, vade. It means oath is taken necessarily in the name of God. Whereas affirmation is the promise to fulfill the obligations attached to the office or to your work. So I have to do this syllabus for UPSC. This is a promise kept with me. So this is simply affirmation. You are affirming. Whereas oath, which is taken in the name of God to break it on one fine day, right? So this is something that is violating the spirit of secularism. Don't you think so? On the one hand, constitution is saying no religion, but every religion equally, but not a single religion a VIP status. But every religion, if you are giving 10 rupees to religious affairs, so 1 rupee if there are 10 religions. That is that not the problem then. It simply means we are equally treating all the religions equally. Now, if this man or this person, whatever, is to occupy the office, one has to take the oath and affirmation. So, oath part includes me, my name, my surname, the name of the office, like that. And if I want to take my beloved one, my office spring, my forefathers, my place. So, for example, in South India, if the name is there along with the name, village name, sometimes the father's name also, the name is quite big, kind of tradition. And if I want to add something to it at my own, then it will be a mistake. Such mistake can be overlooked. So I am saying my name is Hindustan and I'm missing Pakistan, and I need to abide by the kind of things given in the constitution. So मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी means me नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी संविधान को साक्षी मान के means in the presence of the constitution document and XYZ. So is it allowed? Can it be overlooked? So if one is not able to speak because of the tongue twist effect since childhood, maybe because of a particular language, the dialects, pronunciation is not that proper, maybe the person is illiterate, cannot write, cannot speak, and person has been elected as the president, one has to take the oath. Yes or no? So at best what is possible, and cannot hear also. But constitution is not barring such a person to be appointed as president. Only it says that one should be mentally fit. Means not a papu kind of person, means mama's boy. No? Who is mama's boy? You are saying this, I am not saying the name. So you should be caught. Huh? Everyone is mama's boy. No, mama's boy means mama's boy. Yeah. So anyway. Hmm? Hmm. Modi is mama's boy. Sometimes. But he also shows it in public, which otherwise may not be, can be avoided. But anyway, so schedule 3, oath. If there is a mistake in the kind of oath part with related to the name of the office, then it can be overlooked. It can be overlooked. But if there is any mistake in the affirmation part, which are and which is about the duties attached to the office, then entire oath and affirmation will be invalidated. The person has to take the oath in the correct format, and till the time it is not happening, the person will not be allowed to sit in the office. So the constitutional validity of Schedule 3 was there in the eyes of Supreme Court, that it is valid. Though it is violating the spirit of secularism, that is also fine. But they divided it into two parts, the factual part and the substantive part. Right? So this is very, very important. Now there is another question, that if the Schedule 3 is to be amended, then the simple majority led ordinary legislation is required, or we require Constitutional Amendment Act under Article 368 with special majority. It requires a special majority. Article 368 Constitutional Amendment Act. See, पैसे से ज़्यादा God important है. Yes or no? Because it is related to the ethical and moral fabrics, premises of Indian Constitution. But otherwise, what Constitution is doing, what preamble is doing, imposing a kind of value cap on you guys' minds. What Article 51A is doing, which is not punishable, putting a value cap. As far as you are a citizen of this nation, that's it. You can violate it, but there is a guilt feeling. Okay, so this is more important. You have understood this? Then there comes Schedule 4. Schedule 4 was about allocation of Rajya Sabha seats among states. Rajya Sabha means Council of State, means upper house of Parliament. So allocation of Rajya Sabha seat among the states. The Rajya Sabha seats, which are 245 in number as of now, though the maximum number can be 250 because population is less today in India. So in proportion to that less population, we are having only 245 seats. The 245 seats have been distributed among Indian states in proportion to the population. It means more the population, more number of seats. Which Indian state is most populous? UP. So maximum seats there. There are states, small states like Puducherry, Sikkim, 1 seat each. You are getting my point? Now, is there any country wherein principle of equality is followed as far as the number of seats are concerned? US. Why? Because the upper house in US is called as Senate. Total 100 seats and 50 states, 100 divided by 50, 2 seats each, irrespective of their geographical area, irrespective of their population. It means Schedule 4 violate the principle of equality or not? Answer is yes. Understood? Got my point? Yeah. So that's how it is. This is number one thing. But then another thing is that if it is Rajya Sabha, Rajyo ki Sabha, mean Council of State, the union territories should not be allotted seats out of it. But do or does Delhi has Rajya Sabha seats? Yes. How many? 3 seats. Being union territory, extended part of union, so called center, right? Not the state. But then Rajya Sabha seats. So it is eating the vitals of the states or not? So it means it is a non-federal feature provided by Schedule 4. Non-federal expression means what? Contrary to the interest of the state. Federation word means what? Equality between center and the state. So India is not a federation, is proved by Schedule 4. So if in prelims there is a question, consider the following. Number 1, should consider the following with regard to Schedule 4. This is the question. Number 1, it violate principle of equality. Number 2, it violate the principle of federalism. The number 3, it violate the principle of unitary character. The number 4, it is having fixed number of seats. It is having fixed number of seats. The niche options below this, the options are there. 1, 2, 3 are correct. 1, 2, 4 are correct. 1, 3, 4 are correct. And all are correct. What is the answer? 1, 2, 3 are correct. There was one thing which was not correct, that it is violating the unitary character. It is not violating the unitary character. Unitary character means thinking about the union more. So union territory represented in Schedule 4 means it is not violating the unitary character, but it is violating the federal character. So 1, I think 2 and 4. Third was the, I think it is 1, 3, 4 or why? Yes. So 1 and 2 should be correct. Fixed number of seats are not there in it. Tough question. Should not be there in the exam. Should be there. Okay. Maybe there. Okay. So that's how it is. So now, if there is any amendment required to be done in Schedule 4, it requires ordinary legislation or Constitutional Amendment Act. So if in case a new state has been given birth, Schedule 4 will also be changed. And Schedule 1 was requiring ordinary legislation. Schedule 4 will also be adjusted with the numbers of Rajya Sabha seats. Ordinary legislation. Now, yes, if you need to change Schedule 4's concept itself, then it will require Constitutional Amendment Act. There is a difference. If there is a question in the prelims examination that the concept of Schedule 4 is to be changed, then does it require ordinary legislation or Constitutional Amendment Act? The answer is Constitutional Amendment Act. Concept means it is changing that equal allocation of Rajya Sabha seats. That's it. It means it is changing the concept that in not in proportion to the population but in line with what US is doing, then constitutional amendment act is required. But yes, if the numbers are to be adjusted for a newly born state, then it's ordinary legislation. Hmm? Hmm. I don't think, because of the fact that equity is greater than equality. It is not a stock market wala equity. Equity means what? Process of making unequal people equal, and it can be made possible only when you are considering in terms of population, because actually who is the voter? The person. That's it. So equity here simply means if there are two people, right, 18-year-old in the boxing ring, is it equality to put them in fight with each other? No. What you need to do? Jack effect, bulletproof, AK-47, come, we'll fight. This jack effect is called as equity. For example, reservation is also part of equity. This is positive discrimination. Making weaker at par the stronger one is fine. That is why reservation is justified. So in proportion to the population, it is fine. Then India is not a federation. It is not the result of the agreement between the federal units, but it is result of the instrument of accession signed, maybe by police state too, wherein the divergent forces are sometimes dominant. It is hard for a neutral federal unit or federal setup or pivot to just keep them together intact. But it is good that we have union to balance this even by force. In that sense, the in proportion to the population concept is fine. These are the two logics and reasons for not having equal distribution. Right? Up till this point clear? So we can write one line about Constitutional Amendment Act. Ordinary legislation. Even in case of Schedule 2, if you want to change it, then Constitutional Amendment Act will be required. No, it is not influencing federal matter. Right? But yes, if it is amendment here the what you are saying is required. What is he saying? So special majorities are different type. I've not discussed so far. So special majority here, if any, because it is a federal matter, because it will be influencing the states. So 2 by 3rd present and voting, which should be more than or equal to half of total strength of the house. Along with this, minimum half of state legislature's approval by simple majority. What does it mean? How many Vidhan Sabhas we have in India so far? Total Vidhan Sabha, 28 states plus 3 union territories, total 31 Vidhan Sabha. So into 31. So approximately 16. So 16 Vidhan Sabha should ratify this. And for any other reason, any other federal matter is to be amended, for example GST, so it will be collected from every state. It is influencing the state revenue distribution, right? So for example NJAC, National Judicial Appointment Commission, it was influencing every state high court, federal matter. Okay, please write one line. Schedule 2 it provides for salary and emoluments, salary and emoluments and pension payable to the constitutional dignitaries payable to the constitutional dignitaries like president, governor, presiding officers of various houses, right? The importance of schedule 2, the importance of schedule 2 lies in the fact that it provides for what is called as charged expenditure, what is called as inverted comma charged expenditure, that is the salary amount for a post cannot be reduced, salary amount for a post cannot be reduced to the disadvantageous amount during the term of the post, full stop. In a way, it secured the person to act neutrally and not under any pressure that might have come from any threat to his or her salary amount, okay. And right below this, the provisions under schedule 2 can be amended by ordinary legislation using simple majority, okay. Now put the heading schedule 3, write in it. It provides for various format of oath and affirmation. Various format of oath and affirmation. Full stop. Oath is something which is taken in the name of God. Oath is something which is taken in the name of God. Whereas affirmation means promise, promise to fulfill the obligations and duties attached attached to an office, attached to an office. Full stop. Thus schedule 3 underscores the principle of secularism, principle of secularism. Okay, the next paragraph. Supreme Court in KM Sharma case 1990. Supreme Court in KM Sharma case 1990 classified oath and affirmation into oath and affirmation into descriptive and substantive part. Descriptive and substantive part. Full stop. The descriptive part includes election campaign. And please go further. Descriptive and substantive. The descriptive part includes name of the person, and designation of the office, name of the person and designation of the office. Full stop. If there is any mistake, discrepancy or error, if there is any mistake or discrepancy or error in the descriptive part, then the oath is not invalidated, and the person is allowed to sit in the office, full stop. But if there is any mistake In the substantive part, which is about the office duties, comma, entire oath is invalidated, and the person has to take the oath in the correct format, in the correct format. Okay, the next paragraph. Schedule 3 also provides for of secrecy oath of secrecy for certain offices as they come across vital facts of the administration that are crucial for national security that are crucial for national security. Full stop. The different forms the different forms of oath provided by schedule 3 for different offices reflect that every office every office is different for its responsibilities and roles for its responsibilities and roles. Full stop. Article 60, comma, Article 69 and Article 159 respectively provides the oath of the president, comma, vice president and state governors and right below this, the provisions under schedule 3 can be amended by Constitutional Amendment Act under Article 368 using a special majority of 2 by 3rd present and voting and which should be at least half of total strength. Half of total strength. Fine. Then write about schedule 4. It provides for allocation it provides for allocation of Rajya Sabha seats among states. Rajya Sabha seats among states. The Rajya Sabha seats have been distributed among states and some UTs in proportion to the population full stop. So schedule 4 does not follow the principle of equality principle of equality which is followed in US as 100 seats in US Senate US Senates have been distributed equally among 50 states that is 2 seats per state 2 seats per state. Full stop. So it reflects non-federal features of Indian Constitution. Non-federal feature of Indian Constitution, and it is justified because of signed instrument of accession and not agreement between center and state right. Understood this line? Okay. Then right below this, the provisions under schedule 4 can be amended using ordinary legislation using simple majority. Up till this point clear? Now here in this schedule 3 there is an expression called as warrant of precedence. What do we mean by the expression warrant of precedence? means simply hierarchy. Hierarchy. So when we are having different forms of oath, right? So we are also deciding the order, right? Sequence. So this is also the significance of Schedule 3, warrant of precedence. Hierarchy, basically. Okay. Now we will be discussing about Schedule 5 and Schedule 6. Both of these are providing administration and control of scheduled tribes as well as the tribals plus tribal area in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Whereas scheduled tribe in whole India except Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Understood? It means this is for scheduled tribes, this is for tribals. So the very first difference, what is the difference between scheduled tribes and tribal? Hmm? हाँ मतलब fine. Hmm. Nomads. Nomads. NOMAD. Primitive India. Sentinels. Sentinel Island. Hmm. Andaman Nicobar. Sentinel. Jarva tribe is there in Andaman Nicobar. Sentinels. There is an island when you go to Europe. So there is a Sentinel Island. You will find it in between, which we can control, capture just in 2 hours time. But we are leaving it as it is, preserving it. So they are innocent people. Civilized norms, culture is not known to them. That what this cloth is all about, what education, bow, arrow, and all like that. Okay, capturing the prey, killing it, and in night bonfire camp, Hololulu dance. Tribals. It means if we see the anthropological loop or not anthropological loop, the kind of development then from the Homo sapiens, right? So called Adam and Eve. Then we had the races of Homo sapiens because of the geographical impact. So these are the races. So races are based in the continents. So African races, Asian races. Okay. Then the races are divided into what? The religion. Then religion is into caste. Then caste is into subcaste. Then into gotra. But before races, there comes scheduled tribes or scheduled type along with this. But before this, there comes tribals. And before this, Homo sapiens. So we all are. So can tribal be given benefit of the government jobs? Is there any kind of use of giving them the benefit of reservation in government job? Leave aside the education, they are not literate, they don't understand it, they don't wear the clothes the way we wear. Like in Jarva tribe, when you go to Andaman Nicobar, JRWA or JARVA, whatever. So Andaman Nicobar, there is a place called as Diglipur, right? So when you are going by navigational route or directly flight, okay, flight is I think not going directly there via Chennai. It is going. So it's a good place after Goa. If you need to enjoy kind of water sports, it's good place. There is one Air Force unit also, which is keeping that island. So Jarva tribe, when you are going through bus and bus is plying on the road, it will be stopping in between. So they will come wearing the kind of tree leaves, clothes and all, and will be asking for some of the food articles or sometimes liquor that you are carrying. That's it. People started making their videos and pictures, naked body. They are dancing because they don't do anything. They are like PK. There's a movie PK. So like that. But then Supreme Court took it seriously that you are making the mockery of their culture. They don't know anything. So no bus stoppage. Bus glasses will be with black films. Okay, you will not stop it. No camera, nothing. You cannot film them. So this is the sensitiveness of the tribals, the primitive part of India. Now, if you need to provide the protection, then you will be providing more protection to the tribals or to the STs? To the tribals. To the tribals more. Because they don't know anything. Even if they are killing you, thinking that you are the enemy, so it is not their fault. It is not their fault. Say, for example, Lakshadweep, after getting independence, fearing that Pakistan will reach there, our Iron Man ordered our navy to reach there and just fly the tricolor. So after 2 hours, when Pakistani navy was about to reach, they saw tricolor and they returned back, took U-turn. Otherwise, Lakshadweep might have been captured by them. But these people, resident of originals of Lakshadweep, they are thinking that what this clothes is flying, and they don't know anything, and they are not knowing till date. So like that, we are keeping that island is in the original format. So when we talk about STs, schedule simply means index. We have indexed some of the tribals because they have come a long way. Understanding the education, might be they are taking the help of some vernacular alphabets like ABCD they are using, but they are having different language. Different language. So what is your language, my friend? Hmm? Hado. So the alphabets in ABCD, yeah, but it is not English that we cannot understand it, is it? So script is different. That is ABCD that we can read his language, but we cannot understand the meaning of it. Understand it that way. So now, if we are giving them reservation on the part of positive discrimination, the equity factor, because they were not familiar with the kind of settings here, but they understand the kind of education, they understand administration, they understand it. So that is why it is so. So Article 15 and 16. Article 16 for the government job including IAS, IPS and these all civil services. We can reserve the seats. So out of the kind of 50% plus 10% EWS quota, we are having the ST reservations 7.5 or like that. 14.5 something for SCs and 27 for OBCs. Now, there is another thing. When we are protecting scheduled tribes and the tribals, what type of protection is available and what type of bodies they are having? So here we are having something called as Tribal Advisory Council. Tribal Advisory Council. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram are not having TACs. TACs like Madhya Pradesh is having most of the ST's population. In Rajasthan we are having Meena ST. They are very well like us. Right? So Tribal Advisory Council is elected plus nominated body. Elected plus nominated body. And the governor, if the state legislature law is to be applied in any of the scheduled tribe area, may apply it directly with some of the modification coming naturally from the leaders of the community represented through a body called as TAC. But they can apply, it can be applied. Even the parliamentary law, the president will be asking the governor to apply it and it can be applied. For example, Hindu Marriage Act or any amendment to Hindu Marriage Act. So polygamy will not be allowed. So 1954 episode, Nehruji didn't want it to happen. Sorry, Nehruji wanted it to happen, but Dr. Rajendra Prasad wanted to have the monogamy, not polygamy. Right? Why? Because all the rulers here in India, Hindu Rajas, they were having more than one wives, including Ram's mummy, 3 mummies. You understand? Mother, mummy means mother. Lord Ram's. Lord Ram, here a very popular god. Okay. So, Ram's father, Raja Dashrath, King Dashrath, was having 3 wives. So, Hindu rulers, Rajputana and all, Jaipur, on the name of Raja Jai Singh. How many wives? 16. 16. So, it was that kind of marriage alliances and kind of life, field life. So, now it is not possible. It's an offense, civil offense. Okay. So if the governor is wanting to apply it, it can be allowed. And it is a possibility that in some of the ST clan they are allowing the marriages more than one. There is something called as polyandry also. There is one place in Uttarakhand or in Himachal, I think so. Himachal. So one family is following Pandavas traditions. You understand Pandavas? So another, epic, apart from Ramayana, there is epic document called as Mahabharata. So in Mahabharata, Mahabharata, so Pandav, 5 brothers. So what was the name of that lady? Draupadi, Panchali. So wife of 5 people. Why? Because of the innocent obedience of mother, that they asked mother that we have brought something for you. So mother, without knowing that what they have brought, told the son that please distribute it among you guys. So that was innocent obedience and hence the tradition. And it was followed sometimes with the blind belief in that. Anyway, so TAC is an elected and nominated body, and the governor is protecting them for the rules and regulation and the administration. But when we talk about the tribals, here we are having regional council and district council. Regional councils are bigger. Regional council and district council, and these are largely nominated body. Largely nominated body. Governor cannot apply state laws and the parliamentary laws without having the acceptance from DC and RC. Not possible. So they are more powerful. Then they are having only executive powers, but they are having legislative, executive and even judicial powers subject to the approval. Fine, right? Then punishment for some of the small criminal activities. Even they can award death penalty, but it will not be approved. That is why subject to the approval. You understand this fact? Now, if you need to change Schedule 5 or Schedule 6, it is possible through simple majority led ordinary legislation. Now, if you are talking about only AMTM, but how many northeast states we have? 7 sisters. Yes or no? So if the 7 sisters are there in northeast, then why are we talking about 4? Because originally there were 4. These 4 states were disintegrated, especially the Assam, and that resulted into the formation of rest of the 3 states, right? So that's how it is. So we can take one line about it. Schedule 5 deals with administration and control, of scheduled tribes and scheduled areas anywhere in India, except Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Full stop. Major provisions of Schedule 5 are as follows. Major provisions of Schedule 5 are as follows. Number 1. The President is empowered to constitute or abolish, diminish or increase the scheduled areas The number 2, he can give direction to the state. Governor can give direction to the state for the scheduled area administration. Then number 3, governor submit the report of scheduled areas to the president regularly. Or annually. The next, governor shall constitute a body called as Tribal Advisory Council Tribal Advisory Council to advise the governor for the welfare and advancement of scheduled tribes. Scheduled tribes. Okay, the next. Governor may apply Governor may apply any state law or parliamentary law in original form in original form or after modification or after modification as per the recommendation conveyed by TAC conveyed by TAC. Right, the next, the allotment of land comma use of forest area and water bodies etc cannot be done cannot be done without the without the governor's approval subject to the assent given by the president, subject to the assent, ASSENT. Assent means acceptance. Assent given by the president. Right. Then write about Schedule 6. It deals with administration and control. It deals with administration and control of tribal areas, of the tribals in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Right. These areas enjoy autonomous status for more liberty it provides for regional council and district council and district council that enjoy legislative, executive and judicial powers to protect not only management of land and forest but also the customary laws, but also the customary CUSTOM customary laws related to marriages, divorce, property rights, etc. Property rights, etc. Full stop. It also provides for village councils. It also provides for village council to act as village courts, to act as village courts to award punishment, for civil and criminal cases. Criminal cases. Full stop. Such punishment can be appealed in any court of India. Any court of India. Give the heading difference between Schedule 5 and Schedule 6. Make a table. Number 1. It is available, Schedule 5 site. It is available for whole India except AMTM. It is available for whole India except Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Then on other side, it is available only for Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Right. Then number 2, it does not provide for autonomous status to scheduled areas. Autonomous status. Autonomous is from autonomy word. Autonomy means liberty. Autonomous status for scheduled areas. On another side, it provides for autonomous status for scheduled areas for more liberty. Then third difference, it provides for a body called as TAC body called as TAC to aid and advise, to aid and advise the governor for scheduled area administration, for scheduled area administration. Right. Then on other side, it provides for district and regional council, with executive, judicial and legislative powers. Judicial and executive powers. Right. Then the next one, TAC is a nominated body. TAC is largely a nominated body that enjoy only executive power to protect and promote the ST's welfare, to protect and promote ST's welfare. ST's welfare. Then on other side, DCRC oblique VC, DCRC VC are largely elected bodies, in bracket 2 by third members, elected bodies to protect not only well-beings of the tribals, not only well-beings, WELLBEING, beings of the tribals, but also their social customs, but also their social customs. The next point, the parliamentary and state laws are applied automatically. State laws are applied automatically, subject to desirable modifications, subject to desirable modifications made by governor. Then on other side, no automatic extension, no automatic extension of parliamentary or state laws take place but yes, after suitable modification, these may be applied. These may be applied. Okay. So table close and नीचे लिखें the provisions under Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 provision under Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 can be amended by ordinary legislation. Ordinary legislation. Using simple majority. Simple majority. Okay, understood. So here we are having patriarchal culture. There in some of the states we are having matriarchal culture in the northeast. So I was attending one of the marriage in Meghalaya. So I was surprised that after marriage, the bridegroom was going to the bride house. Yes or no? So in your area also it is happening. Only Meghalaya. There is one community name, no? What is that community name? Garo and Khasi. These are the hills. On the hills name the community name. Garo, Khasi, Zetia, if I am correctly pronouncing it. So it was a good custom. Then in one of the tribal area, because the sex ratio was skewed, the number of male were declining, or maybe the population was declining. So the community leader of that tribe allowed the marriages between the blood relations. The neonate born out of such wedlock were dying soon after death. Then the medical study was done. So entanglement of WBC and RCs or RBCs was there. Familiarity with the RBCs in the blood relation, and because of that blood clots formation and death of the neonate. And then the community leader was advised that this is a medical compulsion, you cannot do, and it is not good for your own community. So then they stopped it. So even for the tribals, counseling may be possible. And there is another episode of Naga Ho. You know Naga Ho tribe. So they are extremely patriarchal. So when chief minister decided to give women some special status in form of some reservation, all community male objected to it. It is against our ego. Even the chief minister had to resign. Chief minister had to resign for this episode. So certain things happen. So they are having their own, you can say, ideals, their own ideals. Okay, so we need to protect the way they want. It's as simple as that, because they are happy about it, because they are following it for so long. So we are also happy. Okay, so now we talk about schedule 7. Distribution of subjects. I told about diarchy. Yes or no? And I connected diarchy to schedule 7. So schedule 7 is having 3 lists existing in this format: union list, state list, and concurrent list. The subject in union list oscillate from 95 to 100. In the state list, the subjects are in tune with 65 to 70. In concurrent list, the subjects are in tune to the number like 45 to 50. The subject mentioned in union list are can be legislated over by the parliament. But in the state list, the subjects are legislated over by the state legislature. In concurrent list, the subjects can be legislated over either by the parliament or by the state legislature. But if there is a conflict between such parliamentary law or state legislature on one subject mentioned in the concurrent list, then parliamentary law shall prevail. There are bearing some examples. For example, PMT, NEET. Why the interest of South India, especially Tamil Nadu, dominated over the centers? Judiciary allowed it. You know that episode. What happened in it? Application of NEET was not was delayed in case of Tamil Nadu. Hmm? UG, PG both. So NEET replaced which exam? PMT. Okay. So for example, for IIT you prepare after 12th, or for medical you prepare. So the controversy was there that uniformity of the pattern is not followed. The syllabus is not same. Different variety of medical colleges are there. They are not able to have MBBS for the want of money sometimes. In Tamil Nadu, it was easier to do or to get MBBS. But for Tamil Nadu, Supreme Court delayed the application of NEET exam for that state, and they gave them 2 to 3 years because the universities were mushrooming, lots of investment, but the studies were good there. So that is why a court allowed it to happen. These are the exceptions, but that exceptions may be there because of a particular court decision. But the constitutional spirit says this. Now, apart from this, if any other subject is born or is given birth, is called as residuary subject. Residuary. Residue means the ashes. The residuary subjects are belonging to whom? To the union. To the union. In case of US, residuary subjects are belonging to the states. That is a federal feature. But here it becomes non-federal feature, making the stronger more strong. The union, you are inflating this number. But in case of JNK, earlier, up till Article 370 was present, the residuary subjects were belonging to JNK. It means it was truly enjoying the federal equation with the center. But now it is not so. Okay. So this is about the Schedule 7. But if I may ask, what is the difference between distribution and separation of power, or separation? Or for that matter, what is the difference between distribution, devolution, furthermore decentralization? There is something called as deconcentration also. What is the difference? And also delegation. And allocation. Totally confused. Allocation, distribution, devolution, decentralization, delegation, deconcentration. Article 50 of Indian Constitution 50 provides separation between executive and judiciary. Executive and judiciary. There is legislature also, but Article 50 is not providing this. Even Article 50 is not providing separation between executive and legislature. It is providing this much of separation, means 33.3% only, because this is another 33.3%. This is another. But such separation is provided in case of US, making it a completely or absolute federal state. Not absolute, but near to absolute federal state. You're getting my point what I'm saying? You understood what I say? Understood? No? Okay. So distribution simply means dividing the things in proportion to the resource available and in proportion to the number. So I am having 10 breads to distribute it, right, for each. Okay, this is the division complete, not a problem. Allocation may be there in proportion to one of the factors in terms of number of people, in terms of number of resources available or quantity of resource, right? So it may be partial or it may be fully, we cannot say this. Whereas separation is completely disjoining one of the organ with kind of checks and balance mechanism. This is one difference. Then this distribution mentioned in schedule 7 is for law making purpose, and both are legislature. Parliament is also legislature, state is also a legislature. There is no division, but the division is between the political units. The center is a political unit, state is a political unit, even it is not a geographic unit. There is a geography map, there is a political map. Political map is revisable. If the delimitation commission is coming, demarcating other states, political map is changed. But geography map, until unless earthquake, tsunami, sea level rising, or any other avalanche happens, then geography map will change. Then there comes devolution. Devolution is a revenue nomenclature coming from top to down. So devolution of funds are devolving. So have you seen the milk skimming machine? If you're pouring milk from the top, then what will happen? The spillage of the lighter particle and the heavier particle will come in the center. So that is what devolution. Decentralization simply means not only you are transferring responsibility, but also you are transferring authority. Means transferring authority along with the responsibility. So for example, panchayat. Responsibility is also yours to conduct the election and authority is also yours. Decentralized. So 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act are example of decentralization. Then deconcentration means transferring the administrative control only. Means schedule 5 and schedule 6 are example of deconcentration. Office of District Magistrate or DC as an IAS is an example of transfer of administration, deconcentration. Only administration, not the legislative, not the political, not the financial. Delegation is half decentralization, means only the authority is transferred, but the ultimate responsibility is of the one who is on the top. So delegation is similar to power of attorney. Like your father went outside, said to you, please sit in my cabin and just keep sitting, don't do anything. But what you did? You did something that father was doing, but for different purposes. You spent money for your own cause. Power of attorney was misused or not? But for that misuse, who is responsible? Your father. So that is what delegation is. So minister is delegating the power to the IAS or to the officer, but any mistake is done is borne by the minister. One has to reply to the public when he is going to ask the vote again. Understood? So this is conceptual. So can we write something about Schedule 7? Write in it. It deals with allocation. Uh, uh, it deals with distribution of legislative subject between center and state, in form of three lists, in form of three list list of shift of one subject, shift of SHIFT, shift of one subject from one list to another, from one list to another is possible by way of Constitutional Amendment Act, by way of Constitutional Amendment Act under Article 368 using a special majority, using a special majority. Other than this, the residuary subjects, residuary subjects if they come up, then again comma, belongs to the union, which is a non-federal feature, which is a non-federal feature, as in case of US being a federal state, as in case of US being a federal state, such subject belongs to the state. Belongs to the state. And right below this, distribution word is different from separation. Separation mentioned in Article 50. As it is about separating the organs, not the subjects. Not the subjects. List of devolution. Word is financial decentralization. Word means financial decentralization. Then decentralization means transferring authority and responsibility both. Then delegation means transfer of only authority and not responsibility. And right below this, deconcentration means transferring administrative control only. Transferring administrative control only, for example, office of DM. Office of DM, IAS wala. Okay. So rest of the things we will discuss tomorrow ahead of this. Fine. Which? Fourth option. In between. What was the question? Schedule 4. What was the question? Acha, that question I gave you. You want it to have. Okay. Hmm? So consider the following for schedule 4. So number 1 was about the principle of equality, right? Then second was that non-federal or federal feature, right? Then third was about the equal distribution of seats, and fourth was union character. Only two were correct out of 4. So you want it to be written then tomorrow, or today you want it to? Today. That's the question. Is right. Consider the following for schedule 4. Number 1, it does not follow principle of equality. It does not follow principle of equality. Then number 2, principle of equality. Then number 2, it does not reflect federal feature. Then number 3, it distributes distribute upper house seat equally among all states. The number 4, it reflects unitary tendencies. Unitary tendencies. Right. Then below this the combination 1 or 2 correct, 3 or 4 correct, 1 or 4 correct, or 2 or 4 correct. Okay, so any of these you can make and do let me know. Right? Fine. See you tomorrow.